today I was thinking, like, and it's been on my mind a couple of days, because it's like, ultimately, you know, I spend a decent amount of time in contemplation about, like, how I react to certain situations in life, you know, and how we react as human beings, and ultimately, like, what is our goal when we think about life. And not so much that the goal is something that we obtain, but more of something that we like are sure of in our moments, right? Like, right now, this is what I project, this is what I see, this is my goal, right? And I was thinking about how, like, you know, it's like I can have a thought of what it could be, but then the actual practice of obtaining a goal or of moving in the direction of a goal can kind of throw us off balance at times, I feel like. Because I look at life like, okay, I'm really here to be an observer, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really here to implement my opinions about and my perceptions about how things are supposed to be, right? And so ultimately, like, we're on a path to non-judgment, right? To being able to be in the zone in our life and observing the beauty around us and within us, right? So it's kind of hard to say, because, you know, like, we have relationship would be like your number one thing that you would use as like a template for living life, because through relationship we recognize who we are, right? And so it's like, you know, then you think about relationship and you think about, okay, what bonds two people together? You know, what things bring us together ultimately in a divine fashion, as if it was some type of assignment that we met and that we exchanged, right? And so it's like, you know, looking at everybody that we meet in our relationships as like assignments in a sense, and as like, you know, a opportunity to either, you know, experience some type of happiness because there's no friction, or to be able to be in friction and understand that friction is what brings up things that need to come out ultimately. Because I mean, you know, especially when you get, it's funny because being a woman and being like, I'm in my 30s now, and I used to say, I remember before I turned 30, I used to be like, you know, I'm not gonna be the type of chick who's ever tripping about a relationship, you know, because women hit 30 and they like, we gotta get serious, I need a man and some kids, quit playing, you know, I'm celibate until the right one come around. Like, I didn't think that would ever happen to me. But not that it really has happened in that fashion, but that relationships do start to take on a different meaning as far as love goes, you know. And I see how people can get, especially women, get caught up in a fantasy of, you know, wanting a man to be a certain way, you know, and wanting that protection, wanting him to provide, wanting him to profess his love, you know what I mean? Like, we have this whole idea about how things should be, and it's great when you do get that. But the people who are in our life aren't necessarily for, like, coming in and making us feel that type of way. Really, they're going to bring up the obstacles after that, you know, initial period of lust and honeymoon stage kind of comes over. Then it's like the real shit come up, right? The real obstacles. And they're always those inner, I don't like to call them demons, but kind of, you know, those inner traumas that we've carried with us for a long time. And like, in recognizing my own, it's cold, because it's like when you start to recognize your own shit, you be like, fuck. Like, I was like, literally the other day, I was listening to a YouTube, and she was just breaking shit down, and I was like, dang, like, the size of my ego, holy shit, no wonder this has been tough for me, you know, because essentially what I'm battling, which we're not really battling it, it just feels like a battle. What we're really trying to do is integrate it, right? We're trying to accept it, because again, this whole conversation started off with non-judgment, and essentially from a place of observation rather than judgment, we can experience life, you know, at its greatest potentials. So being able to recognize these things that maybe don't bring so much power to the true self, you know, and to be able to heal them so that ultimately everybody can benefit. me and everybody else around me, and those who I become intimate with, those who I become sexual with, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like you got to clear that out, because in order to be in, like, it's almost like there's layers to it, right? Like, we get to this place where it's like, okay, now we're identifying things that are very honest about ourselves and through other people, and then being able to actually give them the opportunity to understand, you know, hey, like, I'm at this place where I'm working through some shit. Thanks for understanding in advance, because I'm gonna need you to be receptive, you know? But it's like, okay, this must be the part about becoming an adult, right? Coming out of childhood. And I feel like a lot of us haven't even got there yet, as speaking on the worldviews, because we like to give up so easy instead of trying to transform something that is making us unhappy, especially with relationship, right? So you meet somebody, you might initially like them, and then boom, that falls off or whatever. And a lot of us just like to disappear, like, oh, this ain't for me. I don't need this person. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But essentially, it was only because our own perceptions blocked us from actually, you know, having a non-judgment perspective, having an observation, understanding that most of the shit that probably went wrong was our own fault. Because I'm a true believer in that. I'm always trying to look in the mirror like, okay, what did I do? You know what I mean? How can I become a better person? How can I become someone who's easier to get along with? You know what I mean? And to not have my feelings hurt all the time. Because essentially, I think that's kind of what happens, is that, like, you get your feelings hurt enough and you just want to give up. You're like, okay, I just can't. My feelings is too hurt, you know? But after going through so much pain, especially even if it doesn't come from relationship, like, example, this year, I've been around a lot of death, like a lot, like more than I ever have in my life. And so for me, relationship has kind of taken a back seat as far as, like, my feelings being hurt. You know what I mean? Because it's like, man, I just watch people fucking die, you know? And so not that I have any, like, crazy shit about death either at this point. I mean, that's kind of been transmuted as well into, you know, hey, death is transition, and everything in this world is recycled, and it's a beautiful thing. And I don't think that it should be looked at like it's sad. Honestly, I feel like it should be more of a celebration, as if a baby was coming in the world. You know, it's the same type of recycle. There can be no rebirth without death. But it puts relationship in perspective, because it's like, you know, to be able to enjoy people for who they truly are, accept them for who they truly are and what they show you, and not take offense to that, you know? And it's like, because anybody essentially can be our friend when we come from that place. When we come from a place of, you know what, exactly how you are, the environment that shaped you, the ideas that shaped you, the people around that shaped you, like, you good just the way you are. And if I'm a mirror effect, or if you're a mirror effect of me, then I should be able to dig deep enough to get that beauty that resides within, and be able to recognize it within you, you know? Because it's like, I don't think everybody is, like, everybody has both. We all have a duality of negative and positive, you know? And I think that whoever shows up, you know, you're going to get the reflection. If I come to you crazy, I'm probably going to get crazy back, you know? Unless you're just sitting with somebody who understands, like, hey, I'm just here to observe, I'm not here to judge. But not too many of us take a perspective like that, or a vantage point like that, you know? We definitely like to take things more personal, but it's such a balance, and it's so hard, because we are human beings. And, like, to be human, it means that, you can literally have all of the knowledge, you can have all of the intellect surrounding anything, because it's all open for all of us right now. It's a free range information. You can read up on any subject you want multiple times. You become very versed. You don't even need a degree at this point. But the tricky part about it is putting it into practice, you know? Because, like, we think that we just because we know something, we think we're able to act it out. But emotion doesn't give a fuck about intellect. Emotion says straight up, it's coming in elbowing the elbowing opinions, elbowing knowledge, elbowing intellect, because it's like that feeling take over, you know? And for us to be able to, like, okay, hold on, let me sit in this feeling real quick, and then let me assess it, that takes mastery. And it takes practice, and life will give you plenty of opportunities to be in practice. But we have to remember that we're all in practice, and that the intellectual side of things doesn't necessarily mean that we're complete within our being. What y'all talking about? Peace, Tatum. Whoop whoop. What's up, everybody? Okay. Hi, Michael. All right. Okay, that's all I really had to say today. It's just been on my mind, you know, like I'd really be like, okay, whatever adventure that we're gonna take, whatever creative endeavor that's going to be presented to us next in our life is gonna require a different version of us, you know. And I feel like that during this transformation, because like I know that we're all going through transformation right now. I could feel it on the collective level. I feel it, and everybody I speak to feel it. And maybe that's the 6 degrees of separation, man. You know, who knows? But during a period of such transformation and new energy being, you know, integrated into the society, into us individually, like it's gonna take a lot of compassion at first, you know, while this is happening, because things have to come up to come out, and that's really the truth. And so as peaceful as we want to be, sometimes them dragons and them demons is gonna show their face, and to be met with compassion when they come out, not only from ourselves, from a place of forgiveness, but for others as well, because that's the recognition that I fucks with you, and that I know that I am you, and that this is a one-time thing, you know. Hey, here is my destiny. I love you too. Sometimes you gotta stand in the mirror and just say that to yourself. You know, you be like, no, I love you. No, I love you. No, you don't get it. I fucking love you. For real. Sometimes you gotta do that. You gotta give that to yourself and to other people, man. That's the encouragement. We one big team out here. It's squad. It's tribe. You know? That's so cool to me. And that to really work on not getting it right, but you know, within the practice, that reminder that, man, you know, there's different levels and different degrees of relationship for sure, but all in all, like, to treat each other like we would want to be treated, the golden rule, that really does apply. You know, it's the number one rule. We just lost sight of what we really think is, you know, how we want to be treated, because it's been so manipulated. But when we look at like love as unconditional as God is, then that's the direction that we really want to flow in, you know. That, hey, no matter who you are and what you got going, like, it's still love from one human to another. My heart is still open to the possibility that people transform, they change, and that I don't wish no ill will on nobody. And that when we pray, we confirm that, you know what, everybody is on a path to evolution. Everybody is ascending. We're all moving up. Our energy, our love, everything is blossoming all the time, continually opening. And people have room to change, but we can't wish nothing bad on them. Like, oh, that's just the way they are, they'll never change. Nah, man, no. Don't do that to people. Wish them blessings. Wish them growth. Wish them opportunity. Wish them love. Wish them their heart will open. Because it happens to everyone, man. I done been through some bullshit, and I be thinking, like, wow, like, how many times have I been delivered? You know what I mean? From my own fucking shit. My own fucking chains I put on my own goddamn self. How many times have I broken those open and been like, wow, like, I didn't even need a key. I thought I was locked up, but I wasn't. Strip it back, dude. Yeah, basic as fuck, you know. But yeah, you know, you just don't know who you're gonna become. That's the coolest part about it, really, though, because, like, you know, I've been different people in my lifetime, you know, and I'm a different person now than I was yesterday, and then I continue to open up and to the possibility that I could become someone totally different. I mean, I still have the same. There's still gonna always be an essence to each of us, but in a sense, like, you can choose to be whoever you want to be, and to live in whatever you want to live in, dress however you want to dress. Like, everything is really up for creation. And how intimate is that? You know, how intimate is life? And you know, I was listening to the speaker the other day. She was talking about sex, And she was like, you know, the only reason that it's really like looked at like as a taboo is because we don't look at life like sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, because think about what sex is in a sense, right? It's creation. The whole design of sex is to create. The body focuses all of its attention once you get in the mood, right? The body is like, oh, this is what we're doing. We're going to try to create some shit. But life is continually doing that metaphorically. Life is continually creating. And so there is a sexual intimacy about life that I think we miss sometimes. And it made sense to me when she was saying that. I was like, yeah, for real. Because in the midst of creation, and this might be a little TMI, but I'm going to just keep it 100. Sometimes when I'm doing art, like, I get turned on physically. And so I think that, like, for sure there got to be a connection here. You know what I mean? Because it's like that same creative energy. It's all coming from the sacral chakra. It's all coming from down here, you know? And for us to bear witness to creation and relate it and to understand that, wow, like, all of this is on the same spectrum here, you know? That maybe we wouldn't be so obsessed with trying to bust a nut physically when we could just do it in the world every day. You could orgasm just from creating anything, from being an observer, from understanding how beautiful this shit is all the time. Like, wow, like, why is our attention so focused on this one area when it's applicable all around? You know? I'm not saying, you know, it's still a rough concept. She like, because I already know what you guys are thinking. You're like, Tate, sex is still number one. I don't know about your painting adventures, but I like to just put things out there, though. Who knows, you know? It might be something that sparks something in somebody else, and they come up with something even better, and then they tell it to me, and I'm like, oh, that would be great. Yeah, makes sense. You know? All right, well, happy Monday, everybody. I'm gonna get to my destination. I don't have too much else to say. Every time I say that, I have more to say, though. Isn't that stupid? I don't got no more to say. All right, have a good day.